Hello, how are you? In this video, I'll be doing something that I've been thinking about for a while now, which I've mentioned in the last video, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So, the thing is, okay, let's get straight into things because why would I waste your time, right? For a while now, I've been looking back at my old drawings and remembering them in general, and thinking about how my old drawings, well, they look better in a way. Because the thing is, nowadays I draw better in general, but back then I really had interesting themes and concepts and overall, like, ideas and just more interesting stuff. And nowadays, I usually just do like a cute drawing, which there is nothing wrong with that, obviously, but that is not my intention. I like drawing like stuff related to my stories and like more detailed concepts that really feel alive, like you could be there. I don't know, something along those lines. Also, I really miss my dark drawings. I stopped doing that because of social media, which is really sad to think about. But Instagram made me stop drawing dark stuff, like with dark colors and darker subjects, which, fine, sometimes you have to give in to, I don't know, try and do stuff and be successful, but that never happened with me, so why should I follow that, right? I should just do what I want, which would be the more sensible decision, but the world doesn't work like that, so I guess it's fine, right? Anyways, I could go back to that. My username would make a lot more sense, right? You click on my username, think, damn, that's dark, and then you just see all of these like very colorful drawings. But sure. Someday I should talk about how I got my username, even though that would weird people out. Anyways, what you see here is me reworking an old concept. That little illustration that you see on the top there, that's more yellowish, is a little concept I made back in 2022 that I was remembering for a long time now, and I thought that now would have been the perfect time to actually work on that. So down there you can see the reworked concept in my sketchbook nowadays, and then I went into it. The idea is, first of all, the line art. I need to actually define the lines a bit more. I learned it in this drawing I did of Cherry because lately I've been doing very sketchy lines, right? And things get a bit lost because they're too soft, and then I already do like a softer shading, more painterly. So I need to actually define certain parts more that I want to be more focused. So in this newer drawing here, I defined the face of Celine a bit more together with some other parts that I want to stand out to actually show the shape of her body in general, like the shape of her hair and stuff like that. Another thing that I want to do, which I actually don't know if I recorded or not, which I will get into later, I think, is detailing the eyes a bit more. I used to do that, like in the Skims drawing I did, which I actually now think that was one of the first videos I made with a voiceover. I do have an older one way back in the day that I have privated because nope. And I don't know, I just want to mention that, I guess. And well, I tried to detail the eyes a bit more. I didn't detail them that much because I want them to still glow, and when you want something to glow, it's usually very solid, right? Also, another thing that I really wanted to achieve with this whole drawing here is the look of a drawing I made back in 2022 again. Me and 2022 have a thing, I guess. And it's a drawing called Butterfly Singer, which is this one. I think I showed it in the last video. I find it very interesting. It is, in general, good. The anatomy is a bit wonky nowadays that I have a better knowledge on it, right? And better practice and skill in general. I can realize that. Even though it's pretty decent, so it's still okay. But in general, the whole concept and execution of it is very clean. And I love the way I used colors in that, so I wanted to sort of go for that again. usually when I do like my illustrations nowadays, my drawings, and I do use a lot of color because I've been into that, I generally remember that drawing, that's what I go for. But there's also this other one, which is a younger version of Selena, in which I sort of did the same thing, but it's not the same, so I don't know. I used to have better concepts back then, even though nowadays my skills are technically better. I don't know why exactly that happened, but my brain just got lazy. I don't know. I don't know why this happened, honestly. Because nowadays I have a better knowledge on anatomy, I can do pretty much anything. Back then I suffered a lot with posing and whatnot, and even nowadays I don't really have interesting poses, which maybe I should, I don't know, get better at that, use more pose maniacs. But even so, back then I focused a lot more on like metaphorically showing what the stories I was making were about. And nowadays I sort of lost that. I don't know, my ideas just turned to poo-poo caca, I think. I don't know. I should make more like direct lore drawings or more interactions as well between my OCs, because that's fun, seeing the characters actually interact with each other and what they would say in certain situations. That's also a great way to actually like pin down their personalities and their differences, or how similar they are in certain subjects. Because like in your head you are like, oh well, I know exactly how these characters talk, but then you go actually draw those interactions and then you're like, well, what would he say now? Wait, what? So then you have to start thinking all over again what their interaction is. I don't know, I should like draw more stuff like that, but when do I have time? Okay, when do I have time? I never have time. I have time like twice a week for these things, and I'm always busy with something else in between, so I can never focus on actually doing those things. Ugh, I need more time. I need to make animatics too. I still want to make that one animatic that I talked about in my community posts, which I've storyboarded the whole thing. I made the backgrounds already. I just don't have time, and I'm busy this week again. Ugh, I need more time in general. I need to, I don't know. I just need to finish stuff and then I can do that. We will get there. Anyways, another thing that I've noticed, like from these free drawings that you see here on screen from the 2022 one to the sketch from my sketchbook nowadays, right, is how much my art style has matured, like in general. Back then I drew like very anime, very cartoon. It's actually really cute and sweet, honestly. I still like that. It's like very, I just want to hold her. I don't know. Nowadays, it's very long and more elegant, which is the vibe that she's supposed to give. Back then, I don't know. I honestly have no idea what I was trying to achieve back then. I think I just drew however I liked. I like the way I draw nowadays, so that's cool. But when I tried, like, transmitting that on the actual canvas in Krita, it sort of matured even more. That probably is because lately I've been really into drawing semi-realism, because for a long time I've wanted to learn to do realism, and I don't think I will ever get to the point that I actually do realism, like realism. But semi-realism I've been doing a lot lately, and it has been working out, sorta. And I've been learning a lot with that, because actually studying how the face works and the bodies work, and in general how like lights and shadows are casted onto an actual person, and trying to transmit that in your own art style, which is how you should actually learn how to draw. Instead of focusing on art style first, you should actually learn how to draw people, and then you can actually like change that and like stylize it and actually do it right, because then you have an understanding of how people work to actually stylize it in a way that is realistic. I did not do that, as you can imagine. But anyways, since I've been doing that, I think that my art style has been maturing a lot again, because I sort of transmit that into my anime art style thingy here. I don't know, whatever this is. I think it's cool. I think it looks good. It's a good thing, right? Being able to mature and learn new things in general, that's really good, obviously. But I also kind of miss doing the little cartoonish drawings from 2010 too. I think it's really sweet and cute. would I be able to draw like that nowadays? I have no idea. Maybe I should try that. There is a thing I really want to try still that I've been thinking about for years, but we will get into that in another video. It's sort of like the airbrush challenge that I've been thinking about for years now, but it isn't about airbrush challenge, it's about something else. It has to do with art styles, okay? I need to learn how to use harsh and soft shadows in a good way again. Back then I was able to use it, and I was really good at it. Like doing airbrush stuff and then softer shadows and then putting in harsher shadows to define the shadows a bit more. And I sort of lost that along the way. I don't know how or why. Like, I've done full-on cell shading in the past. I've done full-on paintings in the past that are a lot softer. But that intermediate, it really brings a sense of realism because I don't know if you've noticed, but people don't always have like soft shadows or completely harsh shadows. Usually you have a mix of both because that's how lighting works in the usual situations. Another thing that I try to do with this is adding a lot of elements in the foreground, the middle ground, the background, the even further background, you know, and adding a lot of blur to give a sense of that, because back in the day what I used to do is I used to flatten the image, put that on top, and then sort of soft erase like the central part that I wanted the focus to be on, because that is the main focus of the illustration, right? In this case it would be Selena, so I tried to do that again and like erase Selena out of the flattened image. I also do that, I flatten the image and do another one on top, like a copy and paste it on top of the illustration. Then I change a bit of the levels in the illustration to further darken the shadows or further lighten the lights and like play around a bit with that and add it as an overlay on top of the illustration. Usually it's good to do that in grayscale because then it doesn't actually change the colors in the drawing, it just either darkens and lightens them. And then you just play around with the opacity until it looks right. I did that with this as well, just to try and give like that final finish to it. A little bit of the things I did off camera are adding like strands of hair like as details, and raindrops and overlay textures, and the rose crown image that I cut out and like sort of paint in. I still don't know if it's matte painting or photo bashing, but I do something with that. You know, a fun fact, today is actually Yuquiz's birthday. This girl right here, I did not draw her yet. I don't know why I decided to do Selena today instead of her, because I've been planning to draw her for her birthday, right? Like I usually do with like 178 and stuff. I think that have I done it with she? I think I've done it with she, but I don't know. Anyways, I don't know. Say happy birthday to her if you've come this far. Another thing that I've learned recently is using those little rectangles below the color wheel in Krita, which actually like choose matching colors for you from the color that you've chosen for a certain part. That's really useful. I've just found out about it now, so I used that in this illustration and it really works, made my life a lot easier. I love not having to think. That is honestly really great. What a perfect thing to use when you only have one neuron in your brain. So here is the finished illustration. I think. I never know with how much like audio and breathing I cut out, because my god, I've never realized how much I breathe until I started editing my audio. Anyways, I never know where in the video I am, but the finished illustration is somewhere. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that I sort of got the sense of detailed concepts and interesting concepts and detailed stuff in general right. Again, back. I hope I got it. I don't know. I hope you have a nice day and night, as always. And I hope to see you next time. Bye!